Malaysia will not be spared from the expected global economic slowdown in 2023 due to the US's continued hawkish stance on monetary policy, according to Finance Minister Tengku Datuk Zafrul Abdul Aziz. He adds that this is compounded by what's happening in Europe and in China. Zafrul says that during the global financial crisis in 2007 and 2008, China grew 7 to 8%, which helped to mitigate the slowdown in the world economy. This time, all three economies are expected to slow down in 2023 compared to 2022, but Zafrul adds a caveat that this is still a forecast and that it is only September. Even so, the Finance Minister said that Budget 2023 would continue to prioritise the nation's structural reform agenda and maintain economic recovery momentum to ensure the well-being of the rakyat, strengthen the resilience of the people and businesses against any future headwinds, particularly challenges stemming from the ongoing geopolitical uncertainty and climate change. Zafrul says the dampened global economic outlook has also cast a cloud on the fourth quarter, adding that the Asian Development Bank has lowered China's GDP forecast to 3.3% for 2022, the lowest rate compared to other Asian developing countries for the first time in 30 years. However, as for now, Zafrul says that the Malaysian economy is strong, citing low inflation, positive GDP growth, consecutive decreases in the unemployment rate, as well as growth in foreign trade. He maintains that the Ministry of Finance remains confident that the Malaysian economy is to surpass its GDP forecast, explaining that the MOF's confidence is founded on strong figures logged for the year thus far. Supermax Corp resumed its share buyback following a roughly 4-month hiatus as its share price fell below 70 cents in trading. This as investors weighed on the outlook of the Malaysian rubber glove manufacturers as the industry continues to normalise. Supermax ended the day 2.1% down at 68 cents. According to boss filings, Supermax resumed its share buyback on September 2nd when the company purchased 3.2 million shares for 2.39 million ringgit after paying between 73 cents and 75 cents per share. It had subsequently undertaken more share buyback transactions, the latest of which took place on September 19th when the company purchased 7.6 million shares for 5.41 million at between 70.5 and 72 cents apiece. Prior to the most recent round of share buyback, Supermax's last share buyback was on April 27th when it bought 697,200 shares for 770,450.84 or 1 ringgit 10 each. Investor sentiment has turned cautious on glove makers as a whole, where earnings have started to normalise after many quarters of extraordinary profit. In the case of Supermax, it saw its earnings for FY22 decline by over 80% year-on-year to 732.2 million from the 3.82 billion it posted the previous year. National Mortgage Corporation Chagamas has entered into agreement with the Asian Development Bank towards expanding the green mortgage market to include B40, M40 and female-headed households. Chagamas said the technical assistance agreement with ADB was signed at a conference on developing and financing green housing in Asia on Wednesday to study and identify the challenges and constraints for scaling up inclusive and green residential mortgages in Malaysia. In a statement, Chagamas President and Chief Executive Officer Datuk Chong Chi Leong says the company desires to ensure that affordable green housing is accessible to lower-income homebuyers whilst also reducing the overall environmental footprint left by the housing sector. He says that it aims to complete the study within a period of 1 year, where the findings will produce knowledge on how the green mortgage market could be expanded. Chagamas notes that to date, it has issued a cumulative 1.7 billion ringgit worth of sustainability-related bonds and sukuk, adding that the proceeds were allocated in accordance with its Sustainability Bond Sukuk framework. Meanwhile, ADB Private Sector Financial Institution Division Director Christine Engstrom says addressing climate change impacts and supporting its private sector clients with business solutions is a key priority for the bank. Apex Healthcare subscribed for a 40% stake in a yet-to-be-incorporated Singaporean JV company with Shanghai Pharmaceuticals Holdings Co. for 1.2 million Singapore dollars. In a boss filing, Apex says the purpose of the proposed JV is to commercialize branded pharmaceuticals, consumer healthcare products and medical devices under the brand of the JV company in selective ASEAN countries and other international markets. It states that the product portfolio shall include but is not limited to generic medicines, medical devices and fast-moving consumer healthcare products. Apex says this relationship with Shanghai Pharmaceuticals is opportune and strengthens its current and future offering of new generation generic pharmaceutical products to customers. The group adds that the Shanghai Pharmaceuticals' deep pipeline of innovative medicines and biosimilars will enable Apex to establish inroads into offering leading-edge, novel and innovative pharmaceutical products to the ASEAN market. This 40/60 JV is expected to be incorporated within 6 months. Shanghai Pharmaceuticals is a Fortune Global 500 company with dual listings in Shanghai and Hong Kong with a reported revenue of 215.8 billion Chinese yuan in 2021. The High Court has allowed most of the testimony of UMNO President Datuk Seri Dr. Ahmad Zahid Hamidi's second witness to be admitted in court after the prosecution had sought to have them expunged in his corruption trial. The witness statement in question is that of Zahid's press secretary, Major General retired Datuk Fazlet Othman Merican Idris Merican. The prosecution in Zahid's corruption trial had sought to remove certain passages in Fazlet's written witness statement. The portions in question are paragraph 16 to 30 of her witness statement, which the prosecution claim are trying to discredit its key witness, Zahid's former executive secretary, Major Mazlina Mazlan alias Ramli. Zahid and his legal team have largely pinned the blame on Mazlina for using the charity's funds to pay Zahid and his wife's credit card bills, among others. The prosecution, led by Deputy Public Prosecutor Datuk Raja Rosela Rajatoran, has admitted to the court that the paragraphs in question were not relevant to the charges and are collateral matters. However, Judge Datuk Colin Lawrence Sekira ruled that only paragraphs 18 and portions of paragraphs 17 and 22 should be expunged and that the rest should be allowed because they form the core of Zahid's defense. Later in the day, Fazlet had testified that Zahid had been generous with his donations and had given them discreetly without showing off. She added that Zahid never turned down requests for donations which were asked of him. Fazlet has yet to be cross-examined by prosecutors.